So the other new zombie is Captain Marvel, and the devs decided, hey, we're going to play the greatest hits. We're going to do the copy-paste. We're going to give Captain Marvel a 4th skill with iframe ignore and no penetration. Furthermore, they decided to kind of neuter her skill combo, making her, I don't know, somehow not much worse for PvE, but should be quite worse for PvE. Should be quite a lot worse for PvE, because her old combo, let's see here, 5, 3, 4. We're just gonna do the state sanctioned combo, okay? We're talking 115 hits. 115 hits. The new combo, again, we're just gonna do the state sanctioned combo. 5, 3, 4. Remember, 115 hits is what you're competing with. 66. So it's literally half. So they literally decided to cut the number of hits that she has in half, from 115 to 66. That's really cool. Thank you. And what do we get in return? Well, we get a character that's just not very good. Now, obviously, the synergy with the zombies is where the majority of the buffs for Captain Marvel are going to go. Similar to how earlier this year or late last year, we reacted to Spider-Man basically getting a side grade, where this uniform wasn't really better than this uniform. In some ways, it was worse. It was clunkier. It was harder to play in PvE, but it was a lot better for PvP because Agent Venom exists and the symbiote synergy is so potent. Well, you know, let's be honest. The zombie synergy is not very potent. It's not bad. It's like almost good enough, but it's not that good. It's really not that good. And even though you can pair her with Weapon Hex, who's insane as a support with not 1, not 2, but 3 buffs, it's not enough, because the core of what makes Captain Marvel a bad character still exists, right? There's still termites in the house, so it doesn't matter how much wood you use to build. It doesn't matter. The termites are still going to chew up all the wood. And so you basically have the same problem that Captain Marvel has had for years in PvP, where you got to choose. Do you want her to be good? Do you want her to penetrate the damage and get one-shotted? Or do you want her to not penetrate the damage, be tanky, and then not be able to deal any damage? We're first off going to do a PvE look here. This is level 80 tier 3. This is not tier 4. So don't be too much of a hater. But we're going to dive into some, I believe, some Kang content, and we're going to see how she performs. We're going to try to use the same rotation, 5, delay 3, and then 4. You want to delay for sure whichever one you finish before 4. Like whatever you're going to do, 3, delay 5, delay 4, you want to delay them. You want to delay them until you see the Rage proc activated. Because if you're playing Captain Marvel with a Rage, she doesn't have guaranteed crit rate, so you want to let whatever it is, 3 or 5, play a little bit more before you go into 4, where she does the majority of her damage. Otherwise, you're going to not have your Rage proc up, and then you're not going to deal very much damage. So despite what I said, 422 there, despite what I said about them cutting the number of hits she has in half, she actually ends up doing a similar amount of damage. And I'm actually doing this kind of vacuum test here, where we're using the same lead and the same supports, which are going to provide the same buffs, because these characters both provide buffs to all allies. We don't have to worry about, like, we're not using zombie-specific buffs, we're not using hero-specific buffs. I know there's other supports we could use, like Weapon Hex, like White Fox, but I'm doing this on purpose to show you that basically they cut the number of hits in half, but they basically doubled her damage. So we're going to do the same thing, 3, delay 5, and then once it pops, we go 4. We can do 1 and 2. You can splash in the 2 there. We can do 1 a little bit, and then delay 3, 5, 6, 4. Something that I actually forgot or didn't know. Captain Marvel, from this last uniform, her tier 3 is instantly cancelable. So that's really, really nice. Got the co-op here. I got interrupted somehow. There we go, the Rage proc activated. So as you can see, guys, it's the same time. Wow. Dun, da, da, da. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to hold at tier 4 or at higher or different stages. Not necessarily something that I can say for sure, but the fact that they're so close is not a really good sign. And to be honest, there isn't much value in becoming a villain and becoming a zombie versus everything else, particularly for players that don't have weapon hex, right? Especially if you don't have weapon hex, you really are searching desperately for any kind of justification to consider this uniform, and there isn't any, because the damage is essentially the same as her old uni. So what's the point, right? And the other thing is, Scarlet Witch is right there. Scarlet Witch is right there as a villain and as a zombie. So if you need that, just go right there. She's just straight up better than Captain Marvel anyways. I know she's more expensive, but she's just straight up better. So from a PvE perspective, I can't really understand what the devs were thinking here, where she's just basically not better. She may be a little bit easier to play, maybe, because you don't have to worry so much about the second skill, but she's long past her prime of being relevant for things like ABX, so that's not really up for debate. But just for the sake of it, we can test. I was going to do the testing, but then I realized that there are no ABX stages where it's going to make sense anyways, because for the Universal Villain days, you can either use Mephisto or Jean or Scarlet Witch, and then for the other days, it's Universal Hero, and then it's Universal Female, or it's like Universal Female Hero, Superhero Female. So none of those days Captain Marvel zombie uniform is going to be applicable for, and she's not very good for ABL. In addition to that, this version of Captain Marvel has the cancel for burn, like has additional ABX cancels that the new zombies uniform doesn't have. The new zombie uniform doesn't have burn cancel. If you look through her skills, she has silence there, she has paralysis there, she has paralysis there, she has paralysis there, and then she has snare and fracture. So she has 2 ABX interruptions and 2 ABL interruptions, but she's missing shock and burn. So there's really no reason to get this from an ABX ABL perspective, because here with the old uniform, you still get paralysis, you still get fracture and snare, you get burn there, and you get shock. So she actually has more. She also has shock. She actually has all of them, or maybe she's missing silence, but no, she has silence. She has all of them. She has all 6. So you lose you lose 60 hits for PvE. You lose 2 cancels, 1 for ABX, 1 for ABL. Her PvE performance is basically irrelevant. So from there, you're really only going to talk about PvP when you talk about Captain Marvel's new uniform, unfortunately. And again, this is where the other problem comes in. Do you go with penetration? Do you go with a penetration build and try to get, for example, this one here to boost her attack and defense and gives her a 30% chance to penetrate with her 4th skill, so she can actually confirm some kills? Or do you build her tanky? So we're going to test this one out first. We're going to use Hella Lead. We can to give her 60% increased energy attack, because Weapon Hex is providing tons of damage, as well as cleanse, as well as the frenzy buff. So you get a ton of really good stuff there. We're going to test this out. This player does have a double support Sentry, but we do have Hella. So I'm hoping that Hella can do something for us here. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, versus Sentry specifically. Not that Hella's going to do anything. Just to support Captain Marvel. Alright, so she's going to pop her 4th skill. She's going to get immediately zeroed. And now it's just a race to the bottom. Remember, Destruction does not have super guard break immunity. So as soon as Captain Marvel gets stunned, she can't do anything. As soon as she gets guard broken, she's just going to be combo womboed into guard break hell. Now, I understand she's not tier 4. I totally get that. But I'm trying to point out that you basically can't use a destruction on her. It has no super guard break immunity. So as soon as you get guard broken, you are dead. So you have to forego this and basically accept the fact that she won't be able to penetrate. So, okay, she's not going to be able to penetrate. What can we give her defensively to make her as tanky as possible? Start with a Brilliant Egg and see if that helps, because the Vitality proc is going to give her extra healing. In addition to that, we're going to fight the same opponent here, guys. In addition to that, the Vitality proc will also give her super guard break immunity, which will allow her to come back and fight again, attack again, this sort of thing. I don't have high hopes. I do not have high hopes. Obviously, her being tier 4 would be ideal to get more attack, to get more defense, to get all that extra stuff. But if she can't even confirm 1 kill with all of these buffs, then what's the point? I believe her frenzy was triggered. Yeah, and she's dead. Her frenzy was triggered before she got down to 1. And to be fair, Weapon Hex is not doing anything either, to be fair. But Weapon Hex is a support. So, yeah. We're going to try Destruction, or sorry, a Conquest as well. A Brilliant Conquest, to see if that makes any difference. And this is mainly the issue. No one is building Captain Marvel. No one is singing her praises in PvP, even for those players that have her at tier 4, because you're sacrificing, you know, it's like, hey, cut off your leg to save your arm, or cut off your other arm to save your other leg. Why can't we have a character that just works? Why do we have to have this, you know, that's the best. Okay, that was actually really good. That was genuinely good. I'm not sure what happened there, how she was able to deal damage, I'll be honest with you. But she was. That was interesting. I don't know how she was able to deal damage there. I think she may have stripped his buff and removed his... We got another kill. So we're going to die here because the Berserk passive ran out. But that was actually pretty good. But yeah, this is like an extremely, extremely expensive build. We can drop to lower stages to control for the, or like to try to mitigate the fact that she is a tier 3 and not a tier 4, and see what she can do here. This is a Thanos hero support team. We'll see how she does against Thanos. But yeah, this is the main issue with Captain Marvel. I mean, I still think Captain Marvel is a better, if you had to rank all of the Zombies characters for PvP, I think Captain Marvel is a better, you know, addition than Wong or Captain Falcon, Sam Wilson. But I still think Captain America is better. And you know what? We can test that. You know what? We can actually test that. She died against Thanos. Just like this, right? Well, let's see. Oh, okay. Weapon Hex actually ends up getting the kill. Wow. Weapon Hex is obviously the best zombie. I would say for PvP. We're just talking about PvP here. And then Cap would be second. I think Captain Marvel would be third, right? With then, you know, Wong being fourth. But what I want to do here is I actually want to test versus Zombie Cap, who has, well, we're going to have to give him something. So we'll give him the brilliant egg. Could Zombie Cap have killed that Thanos instead of Zombie Captain Marvel? Now, of course, he's tier 4. Like, that's the big difference here. He's tier 4. I understand that. But we can get a gauge on, you know, we can try to get a gauge from the perspective of zombies. I mean, it looks like Hela's going to kill Thanos at this point. And I understand that Hela doesn't offer anything to this team in terms of buffs. I get that. She's here for the brilliant liberation. But remember, Captain America has iframe ignore, I believe. Oh, he dies as well. Oh, wow. I feel like he got closer, but I could be wrong. But Weapon Hex is the one, eh? Oh, maybe not. Never mind. She's done. She's toast. Oh, she got tier 3. She's toast. Wow. Yeah. So it's a bit of a mixed bag for Captain Marvel. We can try this team one more time with serious support. So we would just bring in Colossus, for example, and just move him over. And this way, she actually does have 2 supports that are relevant to the Thanos fight. And we can see if she can take Thanos down or not. We'll see here. She pops her 4th skill. She does about a quarter or a 5th of his health. It's that 3rd skill that really, I think it has remove active buff. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That was good. Wow. That's crazy. So maybe that's the trick, eh? Damn, that was actually pretty good. Out of curiosity, I want to go back to the rank 2 Vibranium player. Maybe just stacking enough flat damage reduction is the way to go. Oh, this is gonna take decades. This is gonna take decades. Let's see here. No, she got instantly zeroed. All right, let's try one more time here. We killed Colossus off with Weapon Hex, and we're going to see if Captain Marvel can come in and make some noise. No, she just stands there. Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. Really good stuff. Yeah. There's obviously a huge gap between Sentry and Thanos. I'm realizing this now. Okay, this is the rank 10 gold player with 0 support. So we can see how Captain Marvel does. Oh, first up is Null. So this is going to be an interesting test here. She's not going to have enough time for... She gets immediately zeroed. Fantastic. Okay. She does trigger his artifact, but she's dead now. Okay. And then she gets zeroed. Okay. And now it's just going to be a matter of time before she's dead. Okay. So ultimately, my review of this Captain Marvel uniform is that it's a downgrade. Or at the very least, it's going to be a nerf for most players because they don't care to use Captain Marvel as a zombie. And she basically loses the value that she had for PvE. So it's a bit of an awkward situation, but I guess if you wanted to use Captain Marvel for PvE, you might just stick with this old uniform. If you have neither of them, that's where it gets more awkward because I hate recommending a uniform that's, what, 2 years old now? But I'm not really sure how else to approach it from a PvE perspective. From a PvP perspective, of course, this uniform is better, but only if you can pair her with zombies. So it requires other paywall uniforms, other premium characters, which, again, I think overall makes this uniform actually genuinely a downgrade because it actually requires so much more investment to equalize or surpass this one, right? In terms of bang for your buck or value, this uniform is far, far better than this one. And I think that's actually a genuine L by the devs. And this might be one of the worst uniforms of the year because of that. Despite that, you know, if they ban enough characters in Otherworld Battle and they give enough buffs to prop up the zombie archetype, yeah, Captain Marvel is useful because she's basically the 3rd or 4th best zombie in the game. If you go by abilities and you filter by zombies, you can see there's not that many of them. And so, sure, for PvP, you know, she's first, of course, because she's the whole engine that runs the team. He's second, I would argue. But then probably Captain Marvel is 3rd. For PvP, and then that puts Wong 4th, and then who knows 5th, maybe Doctor Strange. Not pictured here is Sam Wilson, but I have his hero uniform from the new movie out. So yeah, it's really awkward, man. I think that I really love it when the devs try and push these archetypes, whether it's like symbiotes, whether it's zombies, whatever, blah blah blah. Maybe they're going to be trying soon with Inhumans. But they have to do a better job of testing this stuff. They have to do a better job. They're not doing a very good job of testing this stuff. Or they think they're doing a good job of testing it, and they're not. So whoever is testing things, balance testing, you need to do a better job, or you need to work harder or something. Or you need to get extra help. I don't know. You need to maybe message some of your coworkers that used to balance the game because they knew what they were doing. You don't really know what you're doing. I have to be honest with you. At the very least, Captain Marvel needs like 20-30% penetration on her 4th skill. That's at minimum. At minimum. She probably also needs a higher heal on her 4th skill. She probably needs like 35% or 40% on her 4th skill heal. But again, we know that they're probably not going to give her anything. And this is going to be as good as it gets. So yeah, I think this is a hard pass for the vast majority of players, despite how cool it looks. It's a bit of a shame. Anyways, guys, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching the video. Smash like button if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.